Imagine paying thousands for first class, only to be told you don't belong because of your skin. She stood silent as a white man laughed in her seat. The crew backed him, and security moved to drag her off. But when the pilot appeared, this flight turned into a reckoning no one saw coming. Kenya Monroe knew this flight was more than just a trip. It was the final step in sealing the biggest deal of her life. As the founder of Meridian Tech Solutions, she had clawed her way from a single rented office to contracts that powered half the shipping industry. Today, she was flying to ink a partnership worth $200 million. She had done everything right. Everything except predict how quickly dignity could be ripped away at 30,000 feet. When Kenya boarded Flight 782, she wore her success like a quiet armor. A navy suit pressed to perfection, her natural curls pinned back, and a calm confidence that never needed to shout. She moved past the murmurs in the gate lounge, past the sideways glances that always lasted a second too long. She had long since stopped wondering why strangers looked at her with disbelief when she handed over her first-class boarding pass. But as she stepped onto the aircraft, she felt something colder than suspicion. A smug certainty waiting to greet her. Seat 1A was occupied. A man in an immaculate gray suit lounged back, one ankle crossed over the other, a flute of champagne in hand. He didn't even look at her properly. Just a wazy flick of the eyes before he turned his attention back to his phone. "Sorry," Kenya said with measured politeness. "You must be in the wrong seat. This is 1A. The man's smirk didn't waver. He sipped his drink, wiped his mouth, and finally let his gaze settle on her as though assessing a nuisance. "Sweetheart," he drawled, voice oily and dismissive, "you might want to check coach. This seat isn't for tourists." Kenya's jaw tightened. She raised her boarding pass, her hands steady. "I'm in the right place." His grin widened as he waved over a flight attendant. "She's lost," he declared to the woman in uniform, never once addressing Kenya directly. Passengers nearby fell quiet. Heads turned. A phone lifted, capturing it all. "Ma'am," the flight attendant began cautiously, "would you mind stepping aside so we can verify?" "I won't step aside," Kenya replied, her voice as smooth as glass. "My name is on that manifest. Check it." But they didn't check. Instead, they called for security. The tension thickened as two uniformed officers boarded. Kenya could feel her pulse hammering, but her face remained calm. Around her, the cabin became an audience, some embarrassed, some enthralled. One officer cleared his throat. "Ma'am, we need you to come with us to avoid escalation." Her heart sank. Not because she was afraid, but because she knew this moment would be another story no one would believe unless they saw it themselves. She lifted her phone and started recording. "My seat, my ticket, my right," she said evenly, staring straight into the lens. Just as the officers reached for her arm, the intercom cracked to life. Everyone remained seated. The pilot's voice cut across the murmurs. A hush fell as he stepped out of the cockpit, tall and unsmiling. "What's going on?" he demanded. Kenya held out her boarding pass wordlessly. The pilot scanned it, then turned to the man in the gray suit. "Sir, I need to see your ticket." For the first time, the man's confidence flickered. He patted his jacket, looked around, and then stammered. I'm traveling under a corporate arrangement." "Ticket," the pilot repeated. No ticket emerged. The silence was volcanic. "Sir," the pilot said quietly, "you will leave this aircraft now." Gasps spread in every row as the man blustered, tried to argue, then was escorted off, his arrogance crumbling with every step. The pilot turned to Kenya. His voice softened. "Apologies, Ms. Monroe. Thank you for your patience." She didn't nod, didn't smile. She simply took her seat and buckled in, feeling the weight of every eye watching, not because she wanted the attention, but because she knew how many people never got this ending. As the engines rumbled to life, Kenya glanced down at her phone, still recording. She thought of all the times silence had swallowed the truth. Not today. Today, the world would see everything. What would you do if you were in this situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let your voice be heard.